I want you all to take this opportunity to picture a cloud completely overshadowing a person or group of individuals having unique characteristics or traits belong to them. And outside of this cloud, I want you to picture these labels that are filled with these misperceptions and stereotypes stamped all around the outside of this cloud. And imagine how these labels become our truth, our reality on how we perceive people to be. And even though these illusions were created based off these first impressions, we often will still refuse to see or believe otherwise, even when the truth contradicts with our perception. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the halo effect. Now, you don't have to go too far to see this. It's in your homes, it's all in your schools, and it's in every community on this planet. For example, what may come to mind, or what do you think about when you hear the term immigration or building a wall? Possibly what may come to mind is Mexicans crossing the border, right? Or I bet based off your first impression of me, you may not have guessed that I have earned 4 AA degrees here at R.J. Donovan. Thank you. The reality is that some people view or perceive an inmate to being as no better than an animal, as if we have somehow just become less human overnight. The funny thing is that some inmates feel that a dog has a better chance to getting adopted, right, than a rehabilitated inmate, a human being, going home to be with their families. The halo effect. Now, I found myself becoming a victim to the same effect for many years. And at times, I still catch myself becoming a victim today. Now, at first, this wasn't easy for me to recognize, nor did I ever want to admit that any of the attributes that I have applied to people based off these first impressions were even wrong. I remember how many times in the past how I would create these illusions that filled up my mind with these judgmental notions about individuals or people I barely knew or met for the very first time. Then all of a sudden, this perception of mine became my truth, my reality on how I perceive people to be. And even when someone proves me wrong, my pride inside will still not allow me to see otherwise. For example, many years back, being raised as a Catholic, I remember having this conversation with this Christian regarding the Hail Mary prayer. And I remember he stated he didn't recite the prayer, nor did he even believe in it. And based off that one comment, that one statement, I pretty much had labeled us Christians as being a bunch of little demons or people that were lost. Don't get me wrong, at the time, nothing would have changed my perception. My perception was already set. This is a halo effect. Now, my views and my perception of the world, they go way back when I was once a child. I come from a mixed culture, mixing between German, Irish, American on my dad's side, Mexican on my mom's. I saw the world through the eyes of my father and my mother. Through the eyes of my mother, I saw love and perseverance. Because no matter what obstacles would try to stand in my mother's way, my mother would still stand tall and proud and push right through just for her kids. And I could hear my mom, I could still hear her say, "Son, mijo, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be all right." Through the eyes of my father, I saw this disciplinary giant having anger issues with a touch of racism. I could hear my father say, "Boy, you'll never amount to be shit in life." For many years, as a kid, I couldn't understand why my father would disown his own daughter, my stepsister, for marrying an African-American gentleman. And the cold part about it is, the last time that my sister got to see her father was while he was laying in his casket at his funeral. For many years, as a kid, I couldn't understand why my father would abuse my mother, the woman he was supposed to love and care for, and abuse my mother as if her being Mexican was some type of curse. The halo effect. I remember when my pops passed away, I remember how I felt liberated. Don't get me wrong, I love my pops with all my heart and soul. But on that day, I remember I was about 13, 14 years old. Didn't feel like a regular day. Something about it just felt kind of off, like it was just slow motion throughout that whole day. Me and my brother just got home from school and we noticed my mother pulling up in the driveway, which was kind of early for her to be home at that time, because normally she would have been at work. She got out the car. I noticed she was crying. And these weren't regular tears that my mom would have shed in the past. This was something different. She made her way in the house. She told us my father had just passed away from a heart attack. At that moment, I remember feeling liberated. I felt liberated in the sense like this captive here had just broken free from being in bondage for many years. And this disciplinary giant, my father, will no longer be around and tell me what to do or tell me how to live my life. At that point, I felt like a rebel with a cause. My in crowd became my new family, my new familia. And because of my young, selfish ambitions, I abandoned my responsibilities to my real family, to my real familia. As the eldest brother, I wasn't even there for my younger siblings, my brothers, my sister like I was supposed to. In addition, I even forgot how to be a son to my own mother. Over the years, after my pop's passing, my views became more radical. I felt like, why should I show or give any type of respect to the law of the land or society as a whole, since I felt it was structured around racism and corruption anyways? I felt it was these same social norms that disrupted my family in the first place. So through my eyes, through my perception, I felt it was only right. Hell, at the time, I even felt justified to give right back to society the same social disorder that disrupted my family. My in crowd, my hair slicked back, wearing these big white t-shirts, these big baggy pants, having steel-toe boots, these were my symbols to this rebellion, the halo effect. Now, coming to prison is what you can call a very, very powerful great awakening for me, because I realized that my views and my perception of the world needed a whole new outlook on life. This was the beginning to the deconstruction of my halo effect. For the last 17 years, I've been on this journey, searching for all the right answers to start a new beginning. And nothing was more fulfilling for me. That gave me more insight to myself and to society as a whole, and embracing the both than receiving an education and earning 4A degrees. And I remember when I decided to embark on this journey and sign up for college. At first, I just wanted to see if I had the potential in passing a college class. And at the same time, I wanted to prove my dad's theory wrong, that when he said I couldn't accomplish nothing in life. So the two first classes I decided to sign up for was biology and business marketing. And little did I know what I was getting myself involved with, because these were pretty tough classes to take during an 8-week summer session, right? So even though I barely passed these classes with a C, this still gave me enough confidence inside me to believe in myself. This was the first solid foundation. For the first time in my life, I actually had something solid to stand on. Education was my key to unlocking this new dream for me. So where do we go from here? Let us look beyond the veil of this halo effect, and let us look within these clouds to see the real person for who she is or for who he is, as opposed to defining each other as labels, misperceptions, or stereotypes. Because only then will we possess the possibility to see each other as our own brothers, as our own sisters, breathing from the same bloodline. Because in reality, we all, each and every one of us here today, belong to the same family called humanity. So I'll leave you with this one quote by Mahatma Gandhi that says, "Be the change you would like to see in the world, and with that, we may go beyond the surface to make a difference." Thank you.